Marbula 1. 20 videos of thrilling races, spirited battles, great victories, questionable roster decisions, disgusting track defects, unprecedented controversy, record levels of salinity, and the same 4 teams winning every single time. This is my attempt to cover what was the single most hectic and infuriating season JMR has ever uploaded to their channel. Over the next half hour, you will hear the culmination of 10 weeks of bitterness and intense disappointment in all aspects of the channel. We have 20 teams to cover, and I only care about like 3 of them, so let's just pick a random team to start with.
Yes! Here we go!
Victory is not just expected for this team. It's a birthright. The defending champions are looking to come out swinging for Season 5. And they did. They just ended up hitting themselves. The Savage Speeders gave everyone a glimmer of hope by scoring 7 points in their first 4 races, but then they stopped playing around and climbed the order to finish in the top half. I feel like they knew what they were doing all along, giving the rest of us a false sense of security, only to pull the chair out from under us in typical Speeders fashion. When will it end? My favorite part about this team is watching the fans jump from absolutely loathing Swifty to saying, "I never doubted you for a second! Speedy qualifies last, cut him, put him out on the streets! That Marvel hasn't won a race since Season 2! We're not allowed to lose!" Well, guess what? You lost. Cut all of your members and fire your coach, because a 9th place is obviously unacceptable. I propose that every moderator gets to mute 1 Speeders fan per month.
Cheese.
Mellow Yellow fans were optimistic about their team's chances after they saw Yellow take home a bronze at the track with, appropriately, the most yellow flags. But the fans soon remembered what team they were rooting for. The Cheeseheads get 1 bronze each year, at most, and that's it. Pick a number between 0 and 10, and that's how many points they're scoring in the next race. There's nothing special about this franchise. I've been saying it for years. I will show you the 5 key highlights of Mellow Yellow's history.
Oh, what happened there? Yellow is gone. Yellow has fallen to dead last. Try to hold on. Oh, it goes right over the wall. And Mellow Yellow. Oh, what happened there? Yellow is gone.
Yes, I played Yellow is Gone twice because, let's be real, it's all anyone ever remembers.
I dropped my hot pocket.
Alright, raise your hand if you think Team Plasma should return next season. I don't see any hands. Team Plasma was remarkably consistent in the first few rounds, making a nice comfy home in 6th overall. And the rest of the season they proceeded to let that home fall to ruin and then eventually got evicted from it. This position looks so much better on you anyway. Team Plasma started their expansion into the league by being a 1-season wonder. By 2023, that became 1 event, and now it's become 1 lap. Pretty soon you'll be lucky to have the lead in something. If anyone has a genuine reason to give this team a single second of my time, I would love to hear it. And also, put a tunnel on your track.
Alright, start the truck, Johnny!
There was speculation about Momo being cut from the M1 roster, so a hardcore Team Momo fan had to make a decision. She decided to waste $25. World domination, huh? That's what you wanted? Yeah, they dominated the bottom of the standings. Momo and Mimo were adorably connected to each other. They both got a silver, and then they just laid dumplings for the other 8 races. A lot of people debated at the start of the season, was Momo going to defend their individual title? 16 points in their last 4 outings. Yeah, you showed them, buddy. Not like Mimo was any better. These two had everything to play for, and they treated the season like a leisurely vacation. And I have bad news, Mimo. Nobody's paying your ransom this time.
His butt is in a crock pot.
Kobalts fans are on the edge of their seats as this is their chance to watch the brilliant blue superstars. And Royal. Cerulean is looking for redemption after last year's lackluster performance and puts up a solid race at home. They can absolutely build upon this. And Royal. Then Cerulean keeps a level head despite the red flag and gets a silver at Mo Motorway. The Kobalts look dangerous. And Royal. At Limelight Harbor, Cerulean finds himself in a legendary 4-marble battle and secures their first ever individual win. Everybody say thank you, Clementon. Thank you, Clementon. And Royal. This is the marble you poured your hopes and dreams into? They look lost. So it's up to Cerulean to carry this team to a championship. And if they get it, Royal will rightfully not be up there. All they need is a finish in the top 4.
The curve has now moved farther out, and we've got a red flag.
This red flag almost made me cry and throw my phone. You have to finish well, regardless of what happens. Unfortunately, it's the cold hard truth. Cerulean couldn't overcome the red flag, and so the marble sports world must live through one insufferable team getting 3 trophies in 11 months, only 2 of which they actually earned. Things didn't end well for them, but this team still shows a lot of potential. And Royal. The Midnight Wisps win quite a few polls. Get it? Polls. I wasn't expecting the Wisps roster to consist of the 2022 and 2023 Made Bowl winners, and Wispy's trying to win the third one for the team in 2 calendar years. This team has priorities and I respect it. Westby has proven to be worthy of their roster spot, and Wispy has proven to be worthy of the first bus ticket out of town. The Wisps are pretty formidable as a team, but as soon as you make them do individual events of any sort, all of the members develop separation anxiety. My boyfriend is one of the newest Wisps fans on the market, and he already wants to blow up one of the marbles. He's just like me. So Billy stays for another season, and they almost immediately rub it in Mallard's face with yet another win. The Ducks were very impressive this season. In fact, they had a chance at 2 more wins, but instead they threw away 10 points at Limelight Harbor and let the Speeders have their way at P-Mine Tunnel. With Billy's breakout season and Mallard's unmatched consistency, the Ducks have the championship lead with 2 races to go. Please, everyone in the Marble universe is counting on you. Billy? This is kind of important. Do you want to be here right now? And just like that, victory has slipped away. And Mallard... Oh, you can't be serious. This can't be how it ends. Ducks. I can understand not winning. I can understand missing out on second because the Snowballs ended with 2 goals. But blowing the entire podium? To the Hazers? Do you know how ironic that is? You straight up copied their script. Score 1 point in your last 2 races and watch the duo absolutely crush all your fans' hopes and dreams. All to once again blow a 99% chance of making the podium. You ruined everything. How does that make you feel? I had to revise most sections of my script because of your inept racing. The Hazer segment would have been so funny and you had to go and burn it all down. What a waste.
Don't touch me, I'm sterile!
The single good addition to Season 5. The Snowballs were unfairly left off the roster in the previous 2 seasons, and they spent the tournament going on a revenge tour. They snagged the first 2 pole positions, lagged behind in the middle, and then caught back up to fight for a podium spot that's been long overdue. Snowballs fans haven't felt this thrill in years. Let them have this moment. And hey, Snowy didn't completely carry because Snowstorm had some good finishes too. The Snowballs have more than one good marble this year. They have momentum and have proven they can compete at a higher level. It's a roll in the right direction, and it's more than enough to get them back for Season 6. Right, JMR?
You've been doing the jazzercise!
Say it with me, guys. Bumble saved our team. Again. This is getting old, but I'll keep running that gag into the ground until the other Bumblebees racer decides to do something. Stinger is back for reasons I will never understand, and they're picking up right where they left off. The bottom 10. Bumble, on the other hand, is trying something different. Instead of having 1 good race this season, they're having several decent ones. Meanwhile, Stinger... Wait, they got their first ever top 5? And then a pole position at Midnight Bay? I don't believe it. The Bumblebees have 2 decent racers. They secured a top half finish without a single medal. What am I supposed to make of this? The very dynamic of marble sports is changing. Please be for the better. Season 4. A shaky time for one competitor. They knew winning wouldn't come easy. When the fans counted them out, they fought back. The marble we've all been waiting for has returned. And so, for another season, the whole world wonders, should we cut Clementon? Welcome back to the show, everybody. Let's dive right in. Season 5 kicks off with Orangin looking a little out of sorts, but Clementon has a chance to make a statement. They get bronze? Really? And Orangin does what everybody expects and goes scoreless at the Raceway. There's still plenty of time for Clem to screw this up, and they're already doing it. They get lapped at Mo Motorway and place 7th. What? They got bailed out. I could name a dozen teams JMR would not have done this for. What really surprises me, though, is that Clementon was an all-around great racer. Their only bad finish was P-Mine Tunnel. Even Orangin finally woke up and snagged a win. I do want to point out, however, that O'Rangers fans are a different breed of ridiculous. There was a full-on conspiracy that Tangerine caused the red flag at Mo Motorway. I can debunk that with one simple fact. Do you really think an Ranger is smart enough to pull that off? Anyways, despite the sheer brilliance of this fandom, we have our answer. Should we cut Clementon? No! But it would be really funny. Thank you for tuning in to another installment of Should We Cut Clementon? Stay tuned for our sister show, How Is Time Check Still Employed?
Hey, Brad Score's still on there.
There's only one thing I can say. Neither racer got the brain cell. When things were going well, Team Primary found every possible opportunity to screw up. And when it looked like things couldn't get worse, they still found ways to go lower. Look at this. How do you explain this? This is not racing. They're doing cardio out there. People look at Primary Season and ask, how did they go scoreless in 7 races? What's more confusing is how did they stumble into a bronze? This team went from silver overall to probably getting slashed for the Minty Maniacs. Disparate finally completed their team primary rite of passage. 0 points. Making them the winner of the Season 5 Maid Bowl. The only championship I care about. This is Team Primary's 3rd maid dress in 5 seasons. And all of them were different marbles. This team is a dysfunctional joke and I love every second of it. This is a special news bulletin. The Hazers actually did it. And I am in shambles. For years, the Hazers were the laughingstock of the marble world. Their expert ability to trip over themselves and fall off the podium could not be matched by any other. But unfortunately, times have changed. Cloudy is continuing their quest to bring this team back to relevance. Captain Choke has started to look more like Captain Clutch. For the first time, the Hazers snatched victory from the jaws of defeat rather than the other way around. They passed the cursed torch to another organization and finally completed the task that seemed impossible. An overall podium. And with Cloudy finishing the season with 3 bronze medals in a row, this team is no longer the Hazers. They are now the Bronzers. Wonderful. Congratulations, Hazers. For once, you didn't suck. Guess who's back, everybody? How is this team gonna ruin our happiness this year? Yellow Eye has returned to the sport they never should have gotten cut from, and they demonstrated exactly why. And of course, we have the Golden Child, outscoring over half of the teams by themselves. Everyone was checked out of the season by race 5. My bottle of antidepressants has never disappeared so quickly. I'm gonna get a lot more use out of the Discord block feature, aren't I? This team's privileged fanbase has complained about the following in the last 10 weeks. Having a Red Eye Hall of Fame induction video, Red Eye being robbed at a raceway, Yellow Eye being robbed at Mo Motorway, the Cat's Eye's not leading the standings by more points due to being robbed at Mo Motorway, the conveyor belt, Red Eye always losing, quote, the same old crazy Cat's Eyes, giving up on Red Eye during Savage Speedway, complaining even more about Mo Motorway, and finally, how difficult it is to be a Cat's Eyes fan. Only Cat's Eyes fans can treat getting double first place like a national crisis. Some fans are perpetually dissatisfied with how bad their team is. But this team, they're a whole new level of sore, entitled, and completely oblivious. Before we move on, how about one more trophy for the Cat's Eyes? It's the Best Bonk Award! This was quite possibly the craziest season of collisions we will ever have. So please enjoy 22 of my favorites in the Bonktage. So who wins? Well, it was really no contest. Red Eye and Aquamarine, one of the funniest bonks I've ever seen, and it couldn't have happened to a better marble. Congratulations, Cat's Eyes. This trophy actually means something to me. But through all of this, one thing holds true. When Red Eye wins, everybody loses! The rest of the video is all the teams that did not deserve to be here. Remember, if you disagree with my opinions, you're wrong. Here we go!
I'm going to jail!
The Limers track reminds me of Season 1, which coincidentally is the only season the Limers should have been in, but they're back. It doesn't even matter who their members are, I know exactly how they're going to do. Saunter around on the track, have an obsession with the number 4 for some reason, and simultaneously make every Limers fan sad and every Razzies fan ecstatic. With how my team did this season, I got a taste of what it's like to be a Limers fan. Is this how you live? It sucks. There's no shame in picking somebody else. Save yourself the anguish and leave this team behind. There's nobody behind the Limers on race day anyways.
Why are you buying clothes at the soup store?
Who painted the Indigo Stars and let them race? Just in case you forgot, last year the Raspberry Racers put up the worst Marbula 1 season by far. So why are they back? I know for a fact that Razzies fans didn't want them to return. But hey, popularity speaks louder than results, so they got the invitation over 12 other teams who deserved it more. Thankfully, the Razzies weren't terrible, because if they were, I would have roasted them into next week. In fact, to my utter shock and mild annoyance, they did enough in my cynical eyes to stick around for next year. They got top 5? How? Razzie looks competent. They scored 38 points in their last 2 rounds. Ruzzy, meanwhile, had a pretty good season, but a lot of it was inflated by that gold at Jump Cut Turnpike. I could make a case for the Razzies getting an opportunity they absolutely didn't deserve, but they did something with it, and that is way more than other teams can say. I'm happy for the Razzies fans who really needed something to smile about. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Gatorade.
People really expect me to take the Pinkies seriously? They're not even pink! The Pinkies look like if someone took a Snowballs marble and thought really hard about the color pink. There is no pink in this picture, and there's only one good team in it too. But they secured their first ever race podium, it only took them 25 tries. And of course they finished outside of the bottom quarter of the standings, so the 2.5 Dutch men who made the roster for Season 5 won't even consider the Pinkies for a cut which should have come 2 years ago. Fine, let them come back. I'll be the main advocate for their departure not only from Marbula 1, but from the league as a whole.
Me when your mom, me when your mom.
Remember kids, it's really easy to steal money. Coach Thunderstorm does it every single day. The quest continues to be so excruciatingly bad that the Thunderbolts just have to kick them out of their position. Let's see how they decide to do it this time. I guess that's one way to do it. But look at this, Bold is putting together their first respectable race. 2 DNFs! This isn't real. Bolt turned from a generational talent into a safety hazard. And Shock shouldn't even be here. How is this coach still employed? Is it to maintain the culture? Is it because your group quote-unquote works well together? Do you need a list of electric-themed names for your replacement? What's the reason? Thunderstorm should have been gone 2 years ago, and if they don't get chucked into the sewer system soon, then somebody needs to join them. No wonder the old team left. If I was a fan, I would have left too.
That's Cincinnati!
I want nothing more than to see one of these racers fly off the bank turn at their home track. Maybe then I'll think the track is good. The Balls of Chaos were insufficient last season, to put it lightly, and they need a bit of a reset. In true Chaos fashion, the coach says, "I'm not the problem, you are," and proceeds to absolutely gut-punch the existing racers. Tumult, you should have stopped racing years ago, we're swapping you out for an untested marble in disarray. And Clutter, you've had good seasons in the past, but we need a new face of our franchise. So why not Anarchy, the rolling mediocrity of Season 1? The Balls of Chaos showed no pulse. They were tied with my Waste of Space team with 2 races to go. If you can't even beat them, there is no reason you should be back. Exactly where you should be. This team stayed true to its name and tried another experiment only to watch it blow up in their faces. How much money did someone pay to get this garbage fire back into the big show? It's hard to put into words exactly how pathetic this team is. The Tide Pods have more retired members and staff than other teams have active members and staff. They got convincingly relegated in the showdown, laid down the hammer on 2 of their members, brought in replacement upstarts from Clownfish University for the upcoming season, then ruined their talent just like all who came before them. Siren, well, they didn't absolutely wet themselves, so naturally they're going to be the captain by this time next week. The Nerd even won the Momotorway, but couldn't even fathom the horror that is placing in the top 8 of another race. For other teams, this season would be considered a disaster, and someone would be out on their glass and told to never enter the team facility again. But for the Tide Pods, this season was pretty good. So pat yourselves on the back, and we'll see you in probably February. I know who's at fault here. It's me. I'm in the wrong for thinking this team could provide me with any amount of happiness. We don't look like we're racing. We look like we're doing community service. Cleaning up the course's trash while failing to realize that Team Galactic was the trash all along. You opened my eyes this season. I now see exactly what you are. Marbles. Cold, spineless, gutless, brainless, inanimate objects that not only are unable to feel, but also suck the emotion out of your fans. This is the most emotion I've felt in the last 10 weeks. I want Black Hole gone immediately. They turned one of the best racers to ever grace this sport into a depressed husk. You could have given Sorry a 5-second head start and they still would find a way to go scoreless because of your coaching expertise. I had people saying, Galactic's gonna rebound, it's just a bad race. What good does that do? I'd rather be right than happy. And boy was I right. What fan base deserves this? This unforgiving, lifeless void that has literally been your theme for the past decade! And you know what? We'll probably get to see them again next year. If we don't have 5 new members, a new coach, and a new manager by then, I'll consider it an even bigger failure than this season. So get to work. And that's it. That's all of Marbula 1 Season 5. I had an outro segment already recorded for this video, but I decided to redo it because I wanted to mention a couple things. First of all, I had one of the best weekends of my life not too long ago. I got the chance to see the JMR team at Can Wonderland in Minnesota. I met some of my closest friends, got to chat with Greg and the brothers, and if you've interacted with me recently, you know I haven't stopped talking about it since I went. It was a lovely experience. Thank you so much for holding a fan event. If there is a JMA member watching, please encourage them to come back to the States. Maybe a different part of the country so more people have the opportunity to see you. The other thing I wanted to say was, I had a tough time watching this series. I had many moments during production where I just didn't want to make a recap. And then I realized something. I do this for me. If I don't enjoy a future tournament, I just won't make a video on it. That's my policy going forward. This absolutely does not mean I am leaving. It's just that uploads may be more inconsistent. I want to keep this little hobby of mine fun for all of us, including myself. So thank you for understanding, thank you for watching, and as always, reach for the stars.
He poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague unto our houses! He did? No! But are we just gonna wait around until he does?
Qualifying took that inside of the split there. We have
Well, I figured out who it happens to. Man, it's almost like I could infer that from the title of the video.
That's crazy.
Virtual safety marble.
One of the Rangers, yes.
I'm sending my support to you.
Let's see if the field can.
You know what that means?
And get going again. If
Should we cut Clementine?